increase in order to accommodate special needs folks. You say do a search on YouTube and Amazon will pop up those items. So I use DuckDuckGo.
And I wonder why all those inflatable dolls came up when I went to Amazon to order some things.
Oh Lord.
But I digress.
Yeah, normally like when Google starts acting up, I go to Copilot.
That's a search engine?
It's an AI search engine.
Did you use an Edge?
Huh?
Using an Edge?
You mean Microsoft Edge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would sometimes use Microsoft Edge too. But usually Copilot, like if I'll use that as a search engine and I click on like one of the news articles, it'll pop up Microsoft Edge for me.
Okay.
You all right done sunken one. We just got started. So if you don't know something, look it up. Just look it up. This defense is pathetic. We as supposedly intelligent black men have to show our intelligence. You understand? Because this is not a battle of egos. This is about information. If you don't know something, just ask. I got into it last night. Oh yeah, somebody sent out the link.
Okay.
All right. I got into it with a celebrity.
I'll do it.
Yeah, I got into it with a celebrity yesterday. Actually, 2 days ago. It spilled over into last night spilled over to this morning about a woman who here in Georgia, she was arrested because she had a miscarriage. She took the fetus and threw it in the trash. This moron was trying to argue with me about her being arrested for the miscarriage. I said, a miscarriage is not a crime. What she did with the fetus was a crime. So then, of course, she tried to get into the whole clump of cells argument.
Yeah, that site that said it was it was over a miscarriage needs to be investigated because that's wrong.
Yeah, and it's like that's like you have to understand you can't like first and foremost here in Georgia 6 weeks is because if you hear a heartbeat, which they say normally happens within 6 weeks, then it's a human being. It's a human being. So you throwing away what you call a clump of cells is like disposing of your dead grandmother by throwing her body in the dumpster. Like that's what she got arrested for. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Take that down, AB. Take that down.
What?
Take that link down.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I'm trying to have a clean show tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, we're changing the way we do things to prevent the
trolls.
What's going on, AL?
We're going the route of how Art New Style runs this thing, where we're just sending a link to the people that usually come up.
Okay.
I don't have time to be dealing with white supremacists tonight.
No,
or any other night.
Yeah.
Understood.
Hey, babe, let me ask you a question, bro.
What's up, AL?
Oh, see, I like how you just called me AL, but a while ago when I said link, by accident, you said, hey, send Al a link. I am not Al. I
know.
I'm never nobody's Al. I am AL. A period, L period, like SL.
Albert Leonard Evans.
Nope, not no Albert Leonard. Oh, hell no. Watch yourself.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with the name Albert.
Leroy?
Hey, I don't have a problem with Albert because I know it's an AB up here who goes by.
You cool with that?
Cool. But no, I am nobody's Albert. No, sir. My surname, and I'm only gonna say it once. Pay attention, people. All those who are inquisitive enough to want to know. My surname is Andreas. Period. Lamont. Period. Two first names, no middle name.
Did you say Alberus Lamont?
I said Andreas.
Oh, Andreas. Okay.
Andreas.
I'm gonna write that down.
REUS accent mark over the E, period. Capital L, lowercase a, capital M, lowercase ONTE, period. Andreas Lamont. That is my name.
Andreas Lamont Sanford Evans. Gotcha.
You know Sanford up in there.
A name like with a name like that, I bet you could do a mean barbecue.
He better.
Yeah.
I bet you could. I bet you could fry some shit out of some fish.
I don't burn meat, gentlemen. I smoke meat. People who
Oh,
barbecue burn.
With a name
I
like
don't
that, you better.
I smoke meat, sir, for hours on end.
Oh,
I bet you could fry a mean fish, can't you?
Yeah, and I can fry some fish too. Yes, sir, I can. But that's
with a fifth of ripple. A fifth of ripple in his hand.
There this Negro go again, man. Look here.
We love you, man. You love you. It's all. It's all.
That's what people like BGS, the Californians who like Ripple out there. Brought to you by Frenchie Sam. I'm from the South. We drink Hennessy, we drink Remy Martin, and we drink Cavassier down here. So,
I was just about to say that.
What about some Johnny Walker, AL?
Yes, I will fuck with some Johnny Walker Black. Yes,
Wait. Then that's because of that.
I might fuck with some Crown Royal. But go ahead, ask your question.
Because of that, I have something for you, AL.
What you got, good buddy?
You my man,
Okay, but hey, before you send me a shot, you need to send a shot to the birthday boy. He needed more than I do.
I sent that to the birthday boy last night.
Champ Pimple.
That was a good story.
Hey, I was thinking AL remind me of George Wallace in the Cosmic Slop when the aliens was gonna take him. It was like, I don't care where we go, like long as I take my clippers and my fuck y'all made me forget the line. Remy Martin. He was like, I got to have my Remy Martin.
Wait. Put it back up. Put the camera back up. Yeah, it's Squid Game Edition Johnny Walker Black.
Oh wow.
Damn it, boy. Have you tried that? Have you tried that what's that shit? Not Johnny Walker. Is that Jack Daniels, that Ernest Uncle Nearest, that Johnny Walker Uncle Nearest, the original recipe that was made by the black man who taught that white man how to distill whiskey. He wants to take credit. Jack Daniels wants to take credit. Oh, all the white people, yeah, Jack Daniels. No, Jack Daniels learned his trade from a black man, a slave to be precise.
Yeah.
You mean a prisoner of war?
Yeah, basically. But say, what we got up here? What's interesting? White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt holds White House briefing.
Yeah, let's get back into this.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Let's go.
Out our middle class, it has destroyed our.
That's what I was saying. Before you came up, I was saying, like, we need to change where we get our information from. We need to go straight to the source. Stop listening to Democratic media. And I understand people work jobs. They try to, they get it where they get it. But your trusted news sources have been proven to be untrustworthy.
Yep.
So
that's why my grandfather taught me a long time ago. He said that, son, there's ABC, NBC, CBS, and at the time, CNN, before there was a Fox. He said, you got 4 major networks. You don't just watch one, you watch all of them so you can decipher from all their lies and break it all down, because they all gonna lie to you at the end of the day. It's just you have to find the most plausible and logical truth out of all the lies. That's always stuck with me.
That's why I do Forbes and the White House.
Put Steve's comment up.
Sorry, what'd he say? I'm sorry, I'm sitting up here. You guys are sorry. I want to try that AL, but I don't drink that much anymore. Prisoners of war is correct. I appreciate that term being used. Big facts, aggregate.
We here in this room come from a different cloth, the real cloth. We call shit for what it is.
Straight up balls and stripes.
Yep.
with no chasers. We don't care. We don't care if your feelings get hurt or not. We don't care about your truth, our truth, nobody's truth. We care about the truth, the only truth.
Damn right.
All right. All right. So we're getting back to what's going on, Blood Boiling. I'll dip into the MS News to hear the lies that just like Roland Martin. Oh, God, Roland Martin is ridiculous. That dude, Roland Martin, got all those subscribers. He go live and his chat rooms be empty. My chat with just 14 people in it is more active than his.
Well,
That's AB's best friend.
He gets subsidized by the same people that subsidize TYT. So he's getting paid to do what he does.
Oh, okay.
To spread lies and misinformation and blame everything on freaking racism.
Yeah, race bait.
And you forgot, and we're nice ascots.
If he's being subsidized, that's still no excuse for him to be running around here crying with everybody. Oh, look what I got paid versus everybody else. Remember that AB where what did he get? He got 350,000 versus everybody else's, but he went to crying like he wouldn't get nothing. You got something, fool.
Yeah, I don't watch him every week, man. I look at him periodically because
I only watch Roland Martin when Dr. Greg Carr is on the panel.
Okay.
He's the only legitimate man up there worth his salt. All the rest of them are just talking whiny ass heads.
Yep.
So, getting back to this whole tariff situation, a lot of people don't understand exactly the good that the tariffs are about to do for this country. They don't understand that the gold card, you got people thinking that the gold card is for the $5 million gold card is for people. It can be used for people, but it's mainly aimed at corporations that want to come here to the United States to do business to avoid paying the tariffs. People think that the tariffs are going to make goods expensive. Some goods, yes. Actually, a lot of goods, yes. But companies that cannot afford the tariffs, they would go out of business if they kept their corporations overseas, as to opposed to open up a plant here in America, like a subsidiary. They're buying the gold cards and moving here. Are we all on the same page? Do we understand?
Yes.
Okay. So they're buying the gold cards and moving here. That's bringing thousands, tens of thousands of jobs into America, be they blue collar or blue collar and white collar. Let me get that straight. So you're talking about truckers, warehouse workers, office workers,
construction.
Yeah, construction, because they're not, apparently, from what I'm understanding, from what I'm hearing, they're not letting these people just lease old buildings. Remember, I was saying that I would go and get the factories that are already there in my city or town and try to get them to come in there. Apparently, Trump is like, no. You build from the ground up. Do you all understand here?
Yeah.
Build from the ground up. That means construction companies all across America are about to get some serious business. I was wondering why my U.S. steel stock kept going up and up and up. It seemed like it never had a bad day. So this is what's going on. Just like she was saying earlier in the show, earlier in her press briefing, she named a couple of businesses. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it because I was too slow on the draw to write them down. But she was saying that some of the businesses, I know Apple and Nvidia already have stock in those, but there was two more that she mentioned that I need to write down and take a look at to see where their stock is going, because corporations that are coming in, they're using those people, or they were companies. It was two companies that were coming here, huh?
Well, the one when I was, I'm not going to mention the site here. I'll put it in the back chat.
All right.
When she talked about the Japanese invested $500 billion, what they're planning on doing is building a totally automated factory with robots. So
Wow.
that one, if it goes if the information is correct, there's going to be no American workers really there. It's going to be all totally automated. But I have to do some more research on it. But just wanted to put that out there for the sake of conversation.
No, that's good. That's good. Do it. Do it. So the jobs are coming. All these people that were bitching, moaning, whining, crying about getting fired from the government. Well, jobs are coming in. You need to apply, especially if you're a white collar worker, because you already know the systems. You already know the Apple systems because that's what the government uses. All right. You already know NVIDIA because that's what the government was using. All right. You should be all you have to do is just go through their training. Period. So it's not like the jobs went away and they were never coming back. They're coming back just in the private sector where you belong, where they expect results, where you can be fired. I swear to God, the most laughable thing I heard was government employees talking about they were illegally fired. Like, you don't own the job. You know that, right? Any rate, so as we have been saying, it's going to get rough. It's going to get bad before it gets better. We're not even at the bad part yet. We're not even at the bad part yet, because come summer, I would say late June, early July, that's when they're going to start auditing the states. They're already auditing Social Security. If you saw the video that I dropped earlier today about Elon Musk saying that somebody's about to go to jail for selling over 400,000 Social Security numbers to illegals. All right. And then there's a video, we'll probably get into it tonight, where Musk and another guy, they were talking about how they found all of the fraud in Social Security and Medicaid and how they can easily remove the fraud as far as like that's been given to the illegals, which will make them self-deport. Because if I'm not feeding and financing you, then what are you going to do? You don't have a legal Social Security number to work. You can't get Medicaid, which is, keep in mind, these are free checks that the government has been giving these people. So even if you can't work, you're still getting money off of these Social Security numbers. And what Elon Musk said was maximum benefits. Maximum benefits. You remember the stories they were talking about illegals having $13,000 in food stamps and stuff? You guys remember those stories?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, it's fine. That's why you're here. You know, this is the stuff I'll be covering. Yeah. You know, these people were, and this was last year that these people were flipping out. You had these black cashiers like, yeah, like, swipe their card. I looked at the receipt. This woman had $15,000 in food stamps.
Yeah, so I could give you endless stories throughout the past 15 years in the industry that I'm in, where you have people that's driving Mercedes Benzes, that own apartment buildings, that have thousands of dollars in cash and thousands of dollars in food stamps.
What's up, Snow? Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, so let's get into this. I'm just setting the stage for those of you who are here who are not familiar with what's going on. I'm just giving y'all a quick little snippet, quote unquote. So let's go.
About education. It's perceived by some that companies or countries, if they change their policies either before tomorrow or after tomorrow, can have the president alter what he's planning for that country or that sector. Is that a possibility?
Well, the ultimate change for these companies and these countries, Mark, will happen when they decide to do business in the United States of America. And as I just laid out, they will face no tariffs at all if these companies choose to invest here in the United States and to move their production and their manufacturing here to the United States as well. As for tomorrow, the president will be addressing the decades of unfair trade practices that have ripped our country off and American workers off. It has hollowed out our middle class. It has destroyed our heartland, and the president is focused on reshifting our global economy to ensure that America is once again the manufacturing superpower of the world.
So if they do something today or later in the week that's a pledge for future activity, would that be good enough potentially to alter the policy?
Again, the president has been looking at the very unfair trade practices of the past. Certainly, the president is always up to take a phone call, always up for a good negotiation, but he is very much focused on fixing the wrongs of the past and ensuring that American workers have a fair shake.
So if someone calls after tomorrow and says, hey, I'm ready to make a change, he'd be open to that?
The president is always open to taking calls.
A question from one of our community members, Katie Reeves, is a school teacher in Wisconsin. She's taught K-grade in public, independent, private, and private schools. Here's what she wanted me to ask you. She says, I see the elimination of the Department of Education as an excellent first step in the improvement of our school system. Do you see any further role the federal government can take beyond this, possibly in promoting the expansion of voucher programs or reducing the influence the teachers' unions hold over our schools?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Katie for her service to our country and our nation's children. Being a teacher is the most noble profession that we believe one can have. And the president said in his remarks when he signed the executive order to dismantle the Department of Education that he loves our teachers. And in part, this order is to empower our teachers to have greater decision making in the classroom. Nobody knows our nation's children and our students better than our teachers who are with them every single day. As for the federal government's role, to get to the heart of Katie's question, the president has made it clear to Linda McMahon that we need to find other places within our federal government for critical programs regarding education. Pell Grants, Title IX, lawsuits, etc., civil rights lawsuits, all of that are critical functions, special needs programs, nutrition programs, but there are other places throughout the federal bureaucracy where those things can happen and work. The Department of Education has been a very bloated bureaucracy. We spent trillions of dollars on this department, and for what? Our children are worse off as far as education goes today than they were when this department originated, and that's very concerning to the president. So
the two issues she cited are those priorities for the president: school education choice, vouchers, and diminishing the role of teachers unions.
The president is very supportive of both of those things, particularly when it comes to school choice. He has said that school choice is the civil rights issue of our time, and he wants every child, regardless of zip code, socioeconomic status, how much money their parents have, to be able to go to the school of their choosing that best suits their educational needs. And he is going to empower state and local leaders to make those decisions on behalf of our nation's children. Thanks for being here, Mark. Jeff.
Just changing subjects for 1 second. The administration has expressed a complete confidence in how all the deportation flights to El Salvador were conducted. But now that the administration has conceded that there was an error of one Salvadoran national, will there be any reviews conducted? And does the president express any thoughts on the one error that was disclosed in court last night?
Well, first of all, the error that you are referring to was a clerical error. It was an administrative error. The administration maintains the position that this individual who was deported to El Salvador and will not be returning to our country was a member of the brutal and vicious MS-13 gang. That is fact number one. Fact number two, we also have credible intelligence proving that this individual was involved in human trafficking. And fact number three, this individual was a member, actually a leader of the brutal MS-13 gang, which this president has designated as a foreign terrorist organization. Fact number four is that foreign terrorists do not have legal protections in the United States of America anymore. And it is within the president's executive authority and power to deport these heinous individuals from American communities. It is a promise he campaigned on. It is a promise he is keeping. And every single person in this room should be grateful for that, considering especially MS-13 is very prevalent and prominent here in the District of Columbia, in Maryland, and in Virginia. And the president, the attorney general, everyone who has been involved in these operations is focused on eradicating these criminals and terrorists from our communities.
The vice president said he was a convicted member of MS-13. What evidence is there to back that up?
There's a lot of evidence, and the Department of Homeland Security and ICE have that evidence, and I saw it this morning. Steve.
So apparently what happened was some gay barber or whatever, he's an illegal, but he got deported to South America. He's not, as far as he got deported along with Trende Alagre. He was treated as a Trende Alagran. All right. But he wasn't, from what I'm understanding, he wasn't necessarily in the gang. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he wasn't in the gang, but he was an illegal. All right. So he got thrown in with his little boyfriends. But again, I'll say this again. This is why with AOC and Ilhan Omar, they gave these people, I guess you could say, terribly good advice, where they told them you have the right to remain silent and everything, as if ICE is not going to detain you until they figure out whether you're a citizen or not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do they really think that ICE is going to roll up on you? Are you an illegal? And you don't say nothing. They be like, well, you can go. No, you will be detained until your status is determined. If anything, my message, if I was somebody running against them in that district, hey, if you are legal, always make sure you carry your ID. Always carry your ID. Do not, it's like the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. You'll find yourself having two guys pushing your head down, walking you into a plane. That's the last thing you need. But I digress.
Has the president fully made up his mind on the level of tariffs to impose tomorrow? We keep hearing about a 20% flat rate.
The president said last night he has made a decision and a determination. I was with him in the Oval Office earlier, and he is going to announce that decision tomorrow. I don't want to get ahead of the president. This is obviously a very big day. He's with his trade and tariff team right now, perfecting it to make sure this is a perfect deal for the American people and the American worker. And you will all find out in about 24 hours from now.
And are the car tariffs going to go into effect on April 3rd as scheduled?
Correct. Yes, they will.
Okay. And last thing, would you like to respond to the Chinese military drills around Taiwan?
Yes, I would. As a matter of fact, the National Security Council briefed me on this morning, and they said that the president is emphasizing the importance of maintaining peace in the Taiwan Strait, encouraging the peaceful resolution of these cross-strait issues, reiterating our opposition to any unilateral attempts to change the status quo by force or coercion. That is directly from the National Security Advisor. Just for you, Steve Holland of Reuters. Monica.
Thank you so much, Caroline. Elon Musk this week revealed that Doge found that the Biden administration issued over 2 million social security numbers to illegal aliens, found 20 million dead people marked as alive in the social security system. Has the White House confirmed these numbers with Elon, and is the White House looking into correcting this?
I'm not sure about those specific numbers that Mr. Musk cited. I can tell you what the Social Security Administration has said themselves, according to an Inspector General's report that was conducted last year, showing there was nearly $80 billion worth of fraud in this program. We know for a fact there are individuals who should not be receiving benefits on the Social Security rolls, and this administration is focused on cleaning out the waste, fraud, and abuse in every agency, but particularly in Social Security, to make it stronger for our tax-paying, law-abiding citizens who deserve these entitlements and programs. Because you did bring up Doge, I do want to tout the incredible efforts that have been made at the Environmental Protection Agency, and Administrator Lee Zeldin is just doing a tremendous job. Just yesterday and today it will be going into effect. He announced that taxpayers will be saved $8 million in annual lease costs by moving staff out of the 323,000 square feet of space that the EPA currently occupies, which is completely unnecessary. Yesterday, Administrator Zeldin also announced he will be shutting down a museum that the Biden administration built to tell a selective story about the EPA's history and climate change. It was a real pat on the back to President Biden. And guess how much American taxpayers paid for it? $4 million for this museum that I think only 1,000 visitors saw last year alone. And it will cost American taxpayers $600,000 per year to operate this museum. Well, it's not going to exist anymore. We're going to save taxpayers those critical funds. And Administrator Zeldin is very proud to announce that. And just at EPA alone, and the cuts that they have made, they've saved taxpayers more than $22 billion in wasteful grants and spending. Peter.
Thank you, Caroline. When the president goes down to Florida on the weekends, does he ever hear from, there are so many retired folks down in Florida, does he ever hear from any retired Americans who are stressed about these wild swings in the stock market because of the tariff uncertainty? And they're sitting there on fixed income or living off a 401k, and they don't know how much money's going to be left?
Well, certainly they are legitimate concerns, and the president takes those concerns very seriously, and he's addressing them every single day. And tomorrow's announcement is to protect future generations of the senior citizens you mentioned. It's for their kids and their grandkids to ensure that there are jobs here in the United States of America for their children to live the American dream, just like they presumably did. And as for their worries about their 401ks, their Social Security, I just addressed Social Security. This president is always going to protect it for our tax-paying senior citizens. As for their 401ks, look at what President Trump did for you in his first term. He is working on implementing that economic formula every single day by lowering inflation, lowering energy prices, massive deregulatory efforts, while simultaneously effectively implementing tariffs. And they'll hear more about that announcement tomorrow.
And you said that the president right now is with the trade and tariff team. They are very confident that this is all going to work. But what if they're wrong?
They're not going to be wrong. It is going to work. And the president has a brilliant team of advisors who have been studying these issues for decades. And we are focused on restoring the golden age of America and making America a manufacturing superpower. And again, Peter, I would point you to the investments that have already trickled into this country. And the president hasn't even made his tariff announcement yet tomorrow. There have been billions of dollars in private investments from around the world pouring into American communities. What does that look like for those watching at home, for the people you mentioned, worried about their own economic circumstances? It means more jobs in your communities, which means more money, more investments, more money in your pocket. That's what the president is committed to. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the president's commitment to tax cuts, which we are counting on Congress to do, especially on Social Security.
And one more.
Sure.
Are the special elections today a referendum on the president?
I think first of all, as you know, I'm a government employee now, so I'm not very much allowed to comment on elections that are taking place. That's something to get used to, having just been on the campaign trail for quite some time. But the president is the leader of the America First movement and the MAGA movement. And that was made very clear on November the 5th when he received nearly 80 million votes. I could also say that it is the constitutional right of every law-abiding American in these places where these elections are being held to vote. And every American should exercise their constitutional rights. Sure.
Thanks, Carolyn. A few questions about this deportation case. First, I wanted to clarify something that you said to Jeff a few minutes ago. You said you'd seen evidence that this man was a convicted gang member. In what court was he convicted and for what?
This individual was an MS-13 ringleader. This individual was also engaged in human trafficking. And I'm glad you brought up this point again, because I would like to point out that if you just saw the headline from the insane failing Atlantic magazine this morning, you would think this individual was Father of the Year, living in Maryland, living a peaceful life, when that couldn't be further from the truth. They didn't even mention in the title of that article, or even in the first paragraph, that this individual is an illegal criminal who broke our nation's immigration laws. He is a leader in the brutal MS-13 gang, and he is involved in human trafficking. And now MS-13 is a designated foreign terrorist organization. Foreign terrorists have no legal protections in the United States of America. And this administration is going to continue to deport foreign terrorists and illegal criminals from our nation's interior.
But a judge ordered that he should remain in this country. So are you saying that it is okay to ignore a judge's ruling if you don't like it?
Who does that judge work for?
It
was an immigration judge who works for the Department of Justice at the direction of the Attorney General of the United States, whose name is Pam Bondi, who has committed to eradicating MS-13 from our nation's interior. And let me tell you why we've made this commitment. MS-13, may I remind each and every one of you, is a brutal and vicious gang. They raped and strangled a 20-year-old autistic woman to death in Maryland. They hacked 4 people to death with machetes in a park on Long Island. They have kidnapped, sexually tortured, and shot a teenage girl in Texas after she insulted them, allegedly. Killed and mutilated a 17-year-old girl in Virginia, stabbing him 16 times and cutting off his hands. They beheaded and cut out the heart of a man in Washington, D.C. They raped and murdered a 13-year-old girl in California. They sex trafficked a slew of young girls, including one who was just 12 years old. Raped an 11-year-old girl in Brooklyn while her brother was in the room. Sex trafficked a 13-year-old in Maryland and Virginia, miles away from this White House, even beating her 26 times on her backside with a baseball bat. Pressured homeless New Yorkers to undergo unnecessary surgeries such as spinal fusion in order to bolster their fraudulent lawsuits. These are vicious criminals. This is a vicious gang. And I wish that the media would spend just a second of the same time you have spent trying to litigate each and every individual of this gang who has been deported from our country as the innocent Americans whose lives have been lost at the hands of these brutal criminals. We maintain our position, and very strongly so. Jenner.
Paul,
Go ahead. I did.
that is a mic drop right there. And also, I remember it was it's almost 20 years ago. If it's 20 years ago on a dot, it was, if I'm correct, it was 1 black male and 2 black females were killed in Newark by MS-13. And these were not no Keisha or Pookie or Ray Ray. These were straight as it comes, straight arrow, young men and women that would have been a valuable assets to our community today if they were alive, and they were killed by MS-13. Their untapped potential was taken away. And that was a big thing around here when that happened. They, if you don't know, they make Bloods, Crips, and Latin Kings look like Casper the Friendly Ghost. And when they're in prison, nobody fucks with them because they operate on extreme violence.
But you know, Jasmine said that they're not illegals. It's like the Democratic Party, and mainly it's the ignorant, the most ignorant of the Democratic Party, feel that we should give these people a chance to live in America. But I mean, understand that the whole reason why they're trying to do that they're really trying to destroy America from within. That's been a mandate that had been issued in by George Soros and BlackRock. Because look at what's going on with all of the other countries that are under the crown. Look at the whole EU. Look at the whole EU. They're going through worse than what we were going through. I mean, they're literally locking up their own citizens just for posting. This broadcast that we're doing right here would be considered criminal. We would serve years in jail for this.
Oh yeah. In England, you got Pakistanis that are raping British women and British girls out there. And in France, in France, you got a lot of the Arab immigrants and Africans that's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And when the people have the audacity to speak out, the government drops the hammer on the citizens. It's like Bizarro land. They're killing their own selves. That's how a empire falls, and a culture. I'm not, with me speaking about England and France, from a human, I'm talking about it, but as a Black person, I see it as karma coming back to them. But for conversation's sake, it is a learning tool. You could see that what can happen to you. And we all have our gripes here in America.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're still affected by what happens here.
Yes.
And you got enough trouble dealing with white supremacy here. The beast knocking on your fucking head. We don't need other groups coming in doing the same thing. So, but I digress. Go ahead, babe.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, we got lucky because, I mean, had they have assassinated Trump, we'd have been in the same position. They were already trying to take away free speech. Remember, they were shutting down social media sites. You couldn't even post certain memes with Leonardo DiCaprio. You couldn't even do that.
Your channel would be taken down if you talked against the 2 jabs and the uppercut.
Yep.
Yeah.
especially with that. And when it was founded out that the government was pressuring these social media sites to do it. So
that's why they're defunding NPR. I mean, they was wow. What you about to say?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, they're defunding NPR because the chick, I mean, she was just, in all honesty, spreading Russian propaganda, well, communist propaganda, under the guise of quote unquote information. It's ridiculous. Good Lord. I wanted to cover all that stuff, but you know. Anyway, let's move on.
You had the audacity to be sick yesterday, so
I know. Where do I get off?
That's $2.
Well,
One more on
that's
the
$1.
tariffs. Can you say what the latest thinking is on the start date? I know you were just in the Oval. Are they all going to take effect this week on the reciprocal tariffs? And whenever they start, is that enough time for companies and everyone involved to adjust to that start date?
My understanding is that the tariff announcement will come tomorrow. They will be effective immediately. And the president has been teasing this for quite some time, as you know. He's talked a lot about April 2nd as Liberation Day in America. It would be taking place today if not for April Fool's Day. But tomorrow will be the day, and he's been talking about it for a while. And as a result, you've seen these companies make commitments to investing right here in the United States. Jasmine.
So much. I wonder, back on tariffs, if any market indicators is the White House looking for to see if this tariffs plan is successful down the line?
Well, look, the president has been asked and answered this question about the stock market and whether he's watching it. And I've said, and he has said, the market is a snapshot in time. Yesterday, Dow futures were up. And there's been a lot of talk about the market, and it was up yesterday. So look, the president wants to ensure that all Americans make out well, particularly Main Street. That's the focus of these tariffs. But as I've said repeatedly, just like they were in his first term, Wall Street will be just fine. Shelby.
Thanks. A bipartisan pair of senators sent a letter to the president today arguing that the recent strikes in Yemen are emboldening the Houthis and saying that Congress has not authorized war against them. Is the administration planning to consult with Congress at some point or going forward regarding the strikes, and any response on the letter?
Well, I would absolutely reject Congress's claims. Who made those claims in Congress?
Senator Jeff Merkley and Rand Paul.
Okay, well, I would absolutely reject those claims. These Houthi strikes have been incredibly successful. Last time I was at this podium, there were more than 100 successful strikes. There have now been over 200 successful strikes against the Houthis. Iran is incredibly weakened as a result of these attacks. And we have seen they've taken out Houthi leaders. They've taken out critical members who were launching strikes on naval ships and on commercial vessels. And this operation will not stop until the freedom of navigation in this region is restored, which is a critical principle. And this president stands behind our Defense Department, who's doing a tremendous job.
All right, let me answer this question.
Can I say something right quick?
Go ahead. You're the military guy.
First thing, no, because I just removed a comment. If you're a troll, this is not the place for you. We have zero tolerance here. Okay? We're giving out information, and if this is not for you, please leave the stream.
Did I miss something?
Somebody was taking shots at AB, and this is zero tolerance.
Oh, yeah.
Stafford, I removed your comment. Any disrespectful comments that is pointed towards anybody on this panel will be dealt with. My sniper rifle is out, and I got a itch on my trigger finger. So have some proper decorum in here. And I wanted to say another thing with the immigration thing, where people are getting mixed up. Nobody's against immigration.
Right.
But it's from where they come from. And unfortunately, you have people that come from third world countries that has a backwards mentality. They cannot adapt to first world civilizations, how they operate. And that is who is being removed. Unfortunately, you have a lot of people that is incompatible with your society. And if anybody think that extreme violence or essaying women or children is acceptable, you need to check your own self.
We can move them in with you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got something for them.
Mm-hmm.
I have no problems. We can move them in with you.
Yeah.
We move them in with you.
I used to deal with BDSM, so.
Oh Lord.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay.
You don't want Lewis. You mess around there and be looking like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back. Let's get back, because I'm watching the press conference. I'm not watching the chat. That's why I'm not posting the comments so fast. So
yeah,
I didn't know all that went on. All right.
No, I'm monitoring it, and I'm monitoring all channels.
Okay.
And you better be careful with what you type in this chat room. It's a total dictatorship here. There is no tolerance for effery. Not today.
All right, let's
go
go.
Ahead.
Is the White House going to confer with Congress going forward on this?
I would have to ask our team here at the White House, but the president is well within his authority, as is the Secretary of Defense. Again, these are defensive strikes. The Houthis have been launching attacks on U.S. naval vessels and commercial ships for quite some time. Go ahead.
Caroline,
Yeah.
The pause on the Canadian and Mexican tariffs, the fentanyl tariffs, that's set to expire tomorrow. Is the president considering extending that pause?
Look, I will let the president speak on the specifics of the tariffs tomorrow. But as for fentanyl, we have seen this has certainly caused a national security crisis here in the United States. Fentanyl continues to be the #1 killer of young people in this country, and the president is very much focused on that. Deanna.
Thank you, Caroline. The president recently signed an executive order on making DC safe and beautiful. On the campaign trail, he talked about making New York great again. Does he have any plans on establishing a similar task force? Has he been pressuring Governor Hochul in any way in his conversations about New York and lowering crime?
Well, he has been in correspondence with Governor Hochul quite a bit on the issue of crime, also on the issue of congestion pricing, and so many other issues that are facing New Yorkers. And he wants New York to clean up their streets just as he does here in Washington, D.C. He also speaks to Mayor Adams as well. So he's engaged with state and local leaders across the entire country to ensure they're doing their part to help American citizens in each and every state, regardless of if it's a red state or a blue state.
A question on Russia. Yesterday, the Russian government said that their new goal is 160,000 conscripts for the war. Has the president seen that number? And does he have any response given his recent conversations on peace talks?
Well, I can tell you what the president said last night, and that is he is frustrated with leaders on both sides of this war. He wants this war to end. There are men that are dying on both sides, and it's been going on for far too long. Our team continues to be engaged with the Russians as we are with the Ukrainians, and the president continues to be very, very much engaged on this topic every single day.
Caroline.
Sure.
Caroline,
Sure.
The president said over the weekend that he couldn't care less if prices went up on foreign cars because people buy more American cars. There's been consensus from a lot of economists that these tariffs could raise prices on other goods as well. Is the president comfortable with Americans on Main Street paying more because of these tariffs?
The president is doing everything he can, and this entire administration is doing everything we can to bring down the cost of living in this country. An inflation mess that was fueled by the previous administration's reckless spending, overburdensome regulations that this administration is focused on slashing every single day. I just read you a statistic just from the Environmental Protective Agency alone. We're saving taxpayers money that's ultimately going to drive down inflation, and we're unleashing the might of our energy industry, which will bring down prices as well. To the heart of your question, because this is very important to the American people, you should trust what this president did for you in his first term. He effectively utilized tariffs while driving down inflation. It was a record low 1.4% when he left office, and he's focused on getting back to that. It's unfortunate the previous administration left us in this mess.
Sure. Representative Anna Paulina Luna left the Freedom Caucus over there, left support for a bill that would allow new parents to proxy vote around 12 weeks around the birth of their baby. Does the president support that bill?
I'm not sure. I haven't actually talked to the president about that bill, but I certainly can and can get a take on if he supports it or not.
Thank you. And one more, the DC Circuit ruled last week that the president can fire holdover Biden appointees of independent agencies. Will this ruling empower President Trump to dismiss more federal employees?
Well, the president has given the responsibility to his cabinet secretaries to hire and fire at their respective agencies, and they reserve that right. You saw the Secretary of Health and Human Services announced more layoffs today. This is all part of the administration's effort for a mass reduction in force in the federal bureaucracy here in Washington, D.C. to save American taxpayers money. As for agencies within the president's executive authority, the president retains that right. And we've seen there have been bureaucrats at some of these agencies that have been trying to act independent. They need to remember who they work for. It's the executive of the executive branch. You look at the United States Institute of Peace, for example. There was a little bit of a standoff with bureaucrats over there who didn't want to realize who they work for, and that is Donald Trump. And President Trump is focused on streamlining these agencies to save American taxpayers money, and he has every right to do that.
Caroline.
Sure. Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline.
Yeah.
In Gaza, the bodies of 15 rescuers have been found in their sort of ambulances where they were apparently killed by Israeli forces. Just wondering if the White House is going to be calling on Israel to investigate that and to try and avoid similar casualties involving rescue workers in the future.
Well, as for the specific situation you just mentioned, I'll talk to the president about it and our national security team. What I can tell you is what I've spoken with the president on. He very much remains committed to backing Israel. And it was only because of this president and his team's leadership that we had a temporary ceasefire in Gaza, that we were able to bring many hostages home. And the president made it very clear to Hamas, you get the hostages out, all of them, or there will be hell to pay. And Hamas is certainly witnessing what it feels like for all hell to be paid, and the president supports Israel's right to defend itself.
Any progress at all on a ceasefire at the moment, as far as the president's concerned?
The president and his team continue to be engaged on this every single day. Sure. Go ahead, Tamara.
So I'm just wondering, related to that, if you have an approximate date for the president's first foreign trip. I think there was a little confusion yesterday about what month he was talking about. And then will he need a ceasefire to be in place or closer, either in Gaza or in Ukraine, before that takes place?
The president will be heading to Saudi Arabia in May. As for specific dates and details, we will be reading those out to you as soon as we possibly can. I know our teams are working on the details of that trip. And then again, as for a ceasefire, the president's made it clear that's what he wants to see in Russia and Ukraine, and his team continues to be engaged on it every day. Kelly.
Signal, you said case closed yesterday. As that case was closed, do you have anything that you can share about what was learned, how this can be avoided in the future, any sort of findings from that investigation?
The case is closed, and the president continues to have confidence in his national security advisor. Yes, Kelly.
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 Thanks, Caroline. So
Sorry,
the president has said.
Ed, I'll come to you after.
The president.
I'm
said,
glad you're so eager to ask a question.
It's Liberation Day.
Yes, it is.
Caroline, the president has said foreign countries and companies will eat the cost of tariffs. In his speech on Inauguration Day, he said, quote, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens.
Right.
So then why did he have to tell the domestic automakers not to raise prices?
Well, that was a private conversation that was had. I'm not sure if that comment was made or was not made. But as for what the president said in his Inauguration Day speech, he's absolutely correct. A tariff will be a tax on these foreign nations, these foreign companies. And if they want to be absolved of that tariff, then they can come here to the United States of America to do business, bring their jobs here. Edward, go ahead.
Pause that.
Canadians have been negotiating with.
And one of the examples of that, a few years back, Toyota, they opened up a plant in Tennessee, if I'm correct, and I think Volkswagen also opened up a plant in the Midwest. So
okay, yeah.
But I know for a fact with Toyota, they
came here.
Indiana?
They came here. Yeah.
Okay. And guess what? Toyota was it toppled one of the big three with Americans purchasing their vehicles, and they opened up plants and they hired Americans to work there. So what's wrong with that? You have a Japanese company that opened up auto plant like, hey, Americans love our cars, so we're going to produce them here in America.
Yeah, but the Democrats didn't say that you could like it or not. They told you not to like it, so therefore you have to hate it. You know, that whole mantra of you will own nothing and be happy.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, finish it off.
The Commerce Secretary over the trade, the tariffs. How many companies are mutually talking with the U.S. or countries are mutually talking with the U.S. to lower tariffs?
I don't have a specific number, but I can tell you there have been quite a few countries that have called the president and have called his team in discussion about these tariffs. But again, there's one country the president cares most about, and it's the United States of America, and doing what's best for the people who elected him to this office to restore their jobs, their wealth, and their prosperity. I'm looking at the clock. I have a hard out today. I have a hard out today because I'm actually heading over to the State Department with the First Lady of the United States. She will be delivering remarks at 1 o'clock this afternoon at the 19th International Women of Courage Award ceremony with our great Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. That starts at 1. This is the 5th year Mrs. Trump is participating and standing with brave women leaders who embody American values abroad. And the First Lady in her remarks today will highlight the profound connection between the love and courage that will be shown by this year's honorees. I encourage everybody to...
Anyway, so this is what I wanted to show y'all. This comes, of course, from a liberal hive mind concerning
give him a like.
Security.
Give him a like.
Who, liberal hive mind? I know we do.
No, I'm talking about people that watching.
Oh.
and if you can, in the comments, tell them we sent you there.
Just big me. Before NAFTA, Volkswagen was in Newstand, Western Pennsylvania. All the rabbits were produced there. It was a good paying job.
Oh, Volkswagen Rabbit back in the day was a good car.
Yeah.
A good starter car.
So here's what Elon was talking about with Social Security.
You'll notice there's a strange trend here. How many Social Security numbers were issued?
Let me tell you what happened here. We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff they're working on. You've heard some of that already, but this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we're like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. This country's been great to us. My brother and sister are all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed this in this direction. I want to honor them right now. That work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on. This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview, then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border. They do what's called a release from your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, a notice to appear, which is to appear to judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people. So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we map the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765, It's the work form. You get this form called the 766. That's the authorization. And then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview, no ID.
Just reiterating, people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd have believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it, and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote in this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote. And we have referred them to prosecution at the Homeland Security Investigation Service.
Yeah.
And the truly disturbing thing, though, I just want you to know this, a truly disturbing thing to me, and the darkest thing about this to me, the voter fraud is terrible, but the human tragedy this created is extraordinary, because what you don't understand, people don't know, and Americans need to know, that's why I'm here, is that human traffickers made $13 to $15 billion off of this. That's the money that's going around the world, moving people around the world to our borders because of these incentives. How does it work? What happens? Hey, if you're in Africa and you're in South America, you got to walk up through Mexico, through America. Who do you pay? You pay the narcos, you pay the traffickers. And we were told by ICE, it's between $20,000 and $500, depends where they pick you up, to walk across all those countries and get all the way up to the border. Where's that money goes? It goes to the cartels. It goes to human traffickers. There are 30,000 children that have not appeared on the notice to appear already. ICE knows this. 270,000 children didn't even get notices to appear. ICE told us that kids are being trafficked back and forth across the border to complete families to make this easier. This is a human tragedy. It's not just the money, it's the people and the kids. And how many of these people died on the way up here that didn't make it in? What happened to them? We created a system here that created a incentive for people to come and be taken advantage of by these traffickers. And how do you think they get paid? What, you're in Africa, Central America, you got $20,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 to pay these traffickers? No, you don't. What happens? You come in, then you owe them the money. You're an indentured servant.
The scale of it is absolutely wild. We're talking millions, not hundreds, not thousands, millions of social security numbers being handed out like candy to non-citizens. In 2021, 270,000 social security numbers were issued to non-citizens. By 2024, that increased to 2.1 million. Let that sink in for a second. That's nearly a 10-fold increase in 3 years. And don't even try to spin this as, oh, it's just work permits or legal asylum processing, because clearly it's not. And it's not just the social security numbers that we're talking about. According to this presentation, those social security numbers were used as a gateway for everything: government benefits, healthcare, voter registration. Yes, actual illegal votes by non-citizens that they supposedly tracked down and have now referred to the Department of Justice. And it's exactly what Elon Musk was saying during his appearance on Joe Rogan a couple weeks ago, that this was the Biden racket. They funneled millions upon millions of people into the nation, giving them quasi-legal status, and apparently many of these people were receiving fraudulent American documents. So basically they set up this incentive structure to offer illegal migrants benefits and all of these perks with the hopes that they could eventually naturalize them, have them vote Democrat for the rest of their existence in the country, essentially establishing single-party rule. And there's also the more cynical outlook that the Democrats didn't even intend on naturalizing these people. They had no intention on granting amnesty. No, there was possibly a scheme to have these people vote illegally. And who's to say they didn't? Elon Musk and his team is alleging that they found evidence to suggest that. They're suggesting that they were issuing government IDs to people who shouldn't have them, and that supposedly some of these people voted in the previous elections. This is the scandal of a decade. It's an election scandal, a taxpayer scandal, a national security scandal. If everything that Elon Musk is saying is true here, this is the Biden administration essentially selling out the nation's sovereignty for cheap votes and globalist approval. And look, we're going to be as cautious as possible here, because so far all they've done is show us a chart. But if a fraction of what they're alleging here is correct, holy frickin' moly, things are about to get real spicy once these official reports start to drop. You know, this is probably why they've mobilized their leftist minions across the country to attack Elon Musk. he may be on to the biggest corruption scandal in modern American history. And at this point, it's not even about politics anymore. It's not about government deficiency. At this point, it's about saving the republic. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Don't want to go too much into detail over this stuff because, again, we really have to be patient in cases like this and wait.
This is why I was saying, say this is traitorous. Yeah, it's treason. This is why I was saying, come late June, I would say, I'll put it to you like this. Once they get the states audited, that's when, once they start auditing the states, that's when they're going to, I think that's when they're going to start locking up a lot of Democrats. Because you can get them on the money. Do you understand? You can get, because Elon was saying, I'm going to post it tomorrow. He did a cut. There are a couple of news stories on him concerning this whole Social Security thing and Medicaid fraud. He was saying that he's going to, through Doge, they're going to start looking at where all of the, how a lot of these congressmen and senators who make less than $200,000, why do they have tens of millions of dollars in their bank accounts? So you're looking at the FBI and the Department of Justice starting to issue subpoenas and everything. And the best way to do that, I mean, you don't just do it just to do it. You have to start going, I mean, first and foremost, they already know a lot of the money that was going overseas through USAID. They know a lot of that money didn't leave Washington. They know where it went. You had one company, they tried to delete like whole terabytes of information. But these, like Elon said, you know, but these people didn't know what they're doing. We recovered all the information. So they know where all the money went. We're talking about trillions of dollars. They know where all,
Just FYI, it's hard to totally delete information off the hard drive. It's actually still on there. It's just in a place where it can be overwritten.
Thank you. So he was like, yeah, like we recovered the data. Like, I don't even know why they even bothered to do that. Like, we recovered the majority of the data. Like, so we know where the money went. We know what you spent it on, and we know whose pocket it went in. He's got one more month. What, the end of this month? He said he was going to step down in what, in May from Doge, because they'll be done with, pretty much done with the audit by then. So what is the point of him staying on? But do understand, he's just the face of Doge. He's not the head of it. He's not the one. There's a white woman who is the head of Doge. Elon is taking the slings and arrows for her to keep her safe, to keep her out of the spotlight. Because you see what these idiots are doing. You know, as far as attacking Teslas and whatnot that people have already bought, people that really that are quote unquote on your side. The more you do this stuff, the more you turn a Democrat into a Republican.
And
but I digress.
Well, not only that, the more you discredit your so-called climate change.
Oh yes, like, you know, that just lets you know it was BS. But I've been said that there's nothing you can do about climate change. Like, I don't care how many private planes stop flying in the air and how many electric cars you buy. I hate to tell you this, it has nothing to do. Climate change has nothing to do with that. But at any rate, yeah. Sorry, let me take this hoodie off. I am sweating. Yeah, they're gonna, once the FBI and the DOJ, once they clean out all the treasonous agents that's in there, once they deal with them through the lie detector test, and they get a new staff that they can trust, that's when they're going to start auditing the states. And through the states, they can find out where the money was going. They can tie you in through all of these programs that Doge has been cutting. USAID, DOE, what is that, the UIAP or something that they just, call themselves trying to delete their hard drives, through the US Treasury. They can go, I mean, they're going to pick and choose who they go after. Let's just be honest. You can't go after everybody. But they're going to pick and choose who they go after. But people like AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Ilhan Omar, Issa Presley, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, you know, you say liberal district attorneys. Yeah, all of these people, they're going to get them. They're going to nail all of them. They're gonna nail all of them. You're gonna see a lot of Democrats on trial, probably before the end of the year. Yes.
Did you hear the latest with Ratchet Crotchet?
What did this moron do now?
She went after Byron Donald's wife.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. She did that interview on the Breakfast Club months ago. But my thing is, you such a hypocrite. First and foremost, don't no white man want your little pudgy fat ass. And secondly, AOC got a white husband. Yeah, who was that? Kamala Harris got a white husband. Ilhan Omar got a white husband. All these women of color or black women, whatever the hell you want to call them, they all laid up with all these white men while they run around claiming, talking about racism and whatnot. Like, you sound very, very silly and stupid. But she insulted all of them. She even insulted Don Lemonade. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest.
You mean lemon juice?
Yeah, she insulted a lot of people who are in mixed race relationships. But then again, some of these people need to be insulted because, how you gonna sit up here and be hollering, yelling, screaming, talking about all white folks is racist and all that, but you sitting up here getting your Dear White People, the movie on. And for those of y'all who never saw the movie, the girl, Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, Swirlers, in the movie, the black girl, the light-skinned black girl, which was really not even a light-skinned black girl, it was played by who was the chick that was in Thor that played Valkyrie? You know what I'm talking about, the brown-skinned chick.
I can't think of her name.
Yeah, but no, that's not Clarissa Thompson. That's the basketball sports chick. But at any rate, she's sitting up here claiming to be Miss Pro Blackity Black. The dark-skinned guy was, he was claiming to be Pro Blackity Black too, trying to chase after the draws. But come to find out, in secret, she was sleeping with a Brad. Tessa Thompson. Thank you, Link. Tessa Thompson. Thank you, Farrah. Yeah, Tessa Thompson. Yeah, she's sitting up here sleeping with this dude on the slide, and then he busted her out. And then at the end of the movie, after they did like a typical violent protest, the dean called her in the office and said, yo, either you can, calm the hell down, or you can get suspended, expelled, and we'll press charges on you. So she decided to run off and be with the white boy. Who she wanted to be with anyway. Huh?
I'm about to step down.
All right. Appreciate you being up.
But I'll catch y'all later.
All right. Peace. Yeah, just wild. This wild stuff. Like, so, but Jasmine, she assaulted the reporter. Nothing's really going to come out of that. It'll be another letter in her jacket and another black mark. And Jibba, you asked something about this. What is it? The April 5th protest? I have no idea what the hell that is. I've seen black people on TikTok talking about we sitting this one out. Like, we got nothing to do with that. My thing is this. You are associating with psychopaths. You're associating with people who promote pedophiles, trans people, men and women's locker rooms, these sexual deviants, these criminals, these illegal gang members. You hear all about the stuff that they do. All right. They don't give a damn about you. They don't never talk about you. They never talk about you, black man. And the only time they talk about the black woman, they push Jasmine Crockett to the center. Do you understand? You are a joke to them. You are a lapdog puppy. When you watched 12 Years a Slave, what was the other movie? Well, yeah, that one too. But what was the one that your boy made, the $10 million budget movie, Birth of a Nation? When you watch Birth of a Nation, when you watch Birth of a Nation, when you saw there was a quick scene where the little white girl come outside and she had the little black girl on the leash, and the little black girl was just happily skipping along with her with a freaking leash around her neck. Nothing's changed but the date and technology. But the mentality is always there. But do understand, slave masters were Democrats. We used to call them Dixiecrats. They just changed their names when they went national because the U.S. expanded and had more territory. So they changed their name to the Democrats. They've never done anything for you. You know what they've done for you? They've destroyed you as a people. If you're sitting up here, let me explain it to you. You're sitting up here watching and talking about how these black chicks ain't worth a damn and all of this stuff, but you can't figure out why. They're the reason why. It wasn't the Republicans. Everything good that black people got in this country when it came to the laws was because of the Republicans. You say 29, 25, 20. Okay, I think you meant to make 2025. The leash is in the lace front, right? Like, please, like the right to vote, the right to bear arms, the right to own property, affirmative action, which the Democrats took away. All of the good progress that you were making, even affirmative action, not affirmative action, help me out. Integration was a Republican thing. Welfare was supposed to have been a temporary situation because a lot of black people were out of work because of what was going on with the civil rights era, but it stuck. That's why when the 80s and 90s came, or the 90s or whatever, this is when Clinton was trying to get, well, actually, who was the president before Clinton?
Bush.
Bush was trying to get black women off the welfare rolls. This is why they were handing out scholarships for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and in between meal snacks for a female. All you needed was a C average. And you could go to school, full ride, partial ride, 1/4 of a ride, whatever, because they wanted them to get an education and get off the welfare rolls. But it had done so much damage. So many lazy black females saw it as a way away from your black ass. EPA 88, yes, they saw it as a way to get away from you because you were the ones that were holding them accountable. You have to understand the damage that slavery has done. Slavery made black women not responsible or latched to the black man. They wanted that white man's ice. It was colder.
But with that also,
say it.
One, they're not our women. Two,
true.
When you like, and I give BGS the ultimate props when he said this. African Americans are not organic people. We're a fucking amalgamation of different fucking tribes with different customs and religions that were forced together, traumatized by slavery, and then when we had our freedom, we were forced to be together out of the circumstances of survival. And unfortunately, you had a bunch of men and women that were not from the same culture, but we were from the environment of the same trauma. And unfortunately, we didn't mesh together. And at the first sign of separation, this when it's, people are separating. And Allah, this is why you got the situation that you have now. Do I make sense?
Yeah. People do. Black men, y'all don't understand just how screwed we are. Y'all sitting up here, and I say this in general, I'm not talking about y'all personally, but y'all sitting up here trying to chase after a taco that don't want nothing to do with you outside of your wallet. And I know it's not all, but until you figure out a proper vetting process, then maybe you should concentrate on getting your life together first.
Yeah.
Or or dating out.
And shout out to Sergeant Willie Pete. America has the black people that it deserves.
Yes. We are so screwed. I don't think we really even understand just how bad of a position we are. I sit up here, I put up the graph showing that we were at the very bottom of the economic ladder, even at an average of $52,000 per household on average. It doesn't matter whether you married or not, you know, but $52,000 was at the very freaking bottom. The only way you're going to climb up out of that right now, you have to get into those construction jobs as men. Or get into the stock market. You have to find a way to get your money up. You have to find a way to get your money up. When you get your money up, you'll find yourself hanging out in different circles that are more suited to your financial status. You got to stop slumming. That's the biggest thing that we have to do as black men. We have to stop slumming.
Yeah, you know, a perfect example. A couple weeks ago, one of my friends that I grew up with in the projects came to see me at my job. He was shopping, and we were catching up, chopping it up, because I had some time to spare to converse with him. And he was like, "What you been up to?" And I was telling him, "Me, I'm work manager, you know, got a child, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "What are you doing?" "I'm working at Popeyes, and I live here in the townhouses with my chick, which is on Section 8." And he was like, "Oh, we should hang out." And I'm like, "To do what?" I said, "Do you got an Xbox or a 360? I mean, an Xbox or a PlayStation?" He was like, "Yeah. Here's my gamer tag. Whenever you see me on, hit me up. And hold on. Go ahead, babe. I'll be right back."
No, because I try. Oh my God, look. Because the reason why you stop slumming, look at the people who wound up slumming. Look at the rappers who got killed because they were slumming. What was the dude? Was it Offset? They got murdered?
Yeah.
Yeah, slumming down there, hanging out with bums out there in Houston. Who was it? Proof? Was it Proof or Preach? What was the guy from D12?
Proof.
Yeah, he's sitting up there slumming, got his brains blown out, slumming. You say people don't talk ebonics when they're talking business. I mean, it's like, what are you doing? Stop. I get it. Everybody loves where they come from. See, the Waffle House. Yeah, I'd never go to a Waffle House. No, but everybody loves where they come from. But trust me, when I go to Cleveland, I don't be out in the streets. I go to see family, and then I'm out. I go from house to house to house, and then I'm out. I made one stop to downtown, a public place, Tower City, and that place was a ghost town. It used to be thriving. Picture what you would call the white people mall. Picture that, you know, at its height. Yeah, now that was Tower City in Cleveland. It was just a bustling area. Now picture it, you know, with only like maybe 3 cell phone stores open.
Hey, and the reason for the story that I gave,
what you have to show me?
Like they were wondering why, like talking about that. The people I hang out with, they all have jobs, and when we hang out, we set up a date to hang out, to go eat. We're doing something constructive. Put my camera.
Oh, I thought you was gonna show me something. My bad.
His brother put up Dr. Nilly Fuller in the beginning of the chat when we started. Nilly Fuller, may he rest in peace, one of our great prophets. He said, "We are fucked up due to white supremacy, and black people should only hang around each other when something constructive is happening." So that is like what we have to do. Like, look, I understand, like you said, we're not ashamed of where we came from. We're not ashamed so much of our culture, trying to be, you know, in the sake of saying keeping it real, but the environment's changing, and out of survival, you got to be around people that have something to lose. When you're around people that has nothing to lose, you will lose it all. So,
prime example, the barf scene in Star Wars, the cantina. You'll be dead.
Yeah,
just from a little bump. I like what was that? The robot chicken version. Like they just went to lunch. Him and the walrus guy, they just went to lunch, but the co-worker was acting like a tough guy, and he wound up getting his arm chopped off. Yeah, I mean, all it takes is all of 3 seconds. 3 seconds of a bad decision can change your whole life.
Man, look, the last day I was tough was the last day I got out of the Marine Corps. I'm a working man. I have a son that I have to get back home to. I got people that depends on me bringing home a check and hanging out, putting like the potential to put my life in danger. Nah, no, thank you. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. And how many people lives were cut short or their lives were seriously altered in a negative way with just hanging around people who have nothing to lose? How many people you know who friends or loved ones, you were like, oh, so-and-so got killed. Why? Waffle House, hanging out at the corner, or wrong place, wrong time. They was with somebody like your old friend, but you don't know that he got beef with someone, and now the ops shows up and you become a lick. Nah.
Right there. Yeah, bump on the side. Yeah, the Negro moment. What's up, Two Truth? Yeah, that Negro moment. You get caught up in that Negro moment. I mean, all I've done for the past, almost 40 years is try to help Black people, but now Black men do better, because I mean, we really do not have any friends.
You
We
have
don't
no
have any
friends.
friends.
You only have temporary allies if you have them. And they could be your enemy the next second.
Well, with that said,
that's a very depressing statement to make, but it's true.
yeah. With that said, for those that came in, just to recap, stay away from Democratic media. Get it from the source. Get it either from Forbes or the White House. Watch the full interviews. You see these interviews on CNN when they be having these Republican leaders or whatnot. They wind up getting called out on their BS. You know, it turns into a shouting match. That's why I like watching Scott Jennings on when he'd be on the Abby Phillips show, which really isn't even her show, because without him, do she have a show? No, she doesn't. Scott Jennings is all over her highlights, embarrassing her. Well, not necessarily her, but the people on the show. I mean, just to show you how dumb some of these people are. This one dude actually had the nerve to say that the president was not in control of the U.S. military.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Hold on. We got a few minutes. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. I mean, good Lord. I mean, this is just an idea of the stupidity of the people that they be having. There it is. But let's see. Let me see if I can find the longer clip. That's just the short.
Ignorance is at an all-time high. Remember that Chris Rock skit? I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah. Dang it. I keep finding hold on. There we go. All right, so y'all can see exactly what I'm trying to find it. They keep showing the clip. This guy right here.
Oh, the guy from Tennessee.
From what?
Isn't he the state rep from Tennessee?
I have no idea who he is, but no, not him. Not him. Not the guy that called himself putting his finger in that dude's face. Like, I don't know why he did that. But like, dude, like, it's bad enough that y'all was sitting up there talking about gun control on the same day that they had that mass shooting by that trans guy that killed them kids in that Catholic school. And they wound up throwing them out. Oh man, where is it? Ah, here we go. All right.
Feel from the Doge is not about cutting money, right? It's not about spending. It's about shrinking government so that it'll be too small to stop Trump with whatever else is in this plan.
Why would
That's
the
what
government?
we're-
Why would the government stop Trump? Isn't he the head of the government? You're saying the government would be too small to stop Trump. If Trump's the president, why would the government, the bureaucracy, be actively trying to stop him?
Because they want to shredding the Constitution and creating an authoritarian dictatorship. That's why.
And no matter who is in office, I'm going to hold them accountable. But more importantly, I'm going to make sure the government is working for the American people.
Both of you all made an interesting point, which is that your view is that Trump is shredding the Constitution. I'd like to hear more about that. But that it seems to me that you all both believe that the unelected part of our government, the bureaucracy, has a responsibility to resist the political leadership. Is that your view?
That's not actually
That's
what
not
we
at all
said. We
what I
said they are
Yeah, it is.
upholding the Constitution, the principles of the Constitution, and at times
How
that we
is
have
Trump
seen.
shredding the Constitution?
My God, he's like.
I mean, seriously, do we have to give you a civics lesson that we have?
I don't know.
That we've put all power in the executive
How is
branch,
holding the
the
government-
legislative branch, the FBI. Now we're in control of the military,
Yes.
silencing media.
Chief,
This
head
is
of
what
the
you
military.
do
It's a
in
great
a
part of
dictatorship.
Are
This
you
is not.
suggesting that the president is not the commander in chief of the military?
I am suggesting that the president is going to put in charge somebody who is going to contravene the Constitution. And at some near point, this conversation will look very silly for you because it will be obvious. And right now, you're gaslighting. But when we get to the actual rubber of the road of this, it will be clear.
I'm interested in this conversation. He's going to put someone in charge who will contravene the Constitution. Like who?
Oh God.
What do you mean by that? The president is in charge of the military, is he not?
You moron.
You said he's going to put someone in charge.
You see the look on his face?
Yeah.
Watch
well,
this. Watch the look on his face when he said that. Because, I mean, it was like brain fart.
Put someone in charge who will contravene the Constitution. Like who? What do you mean by that?
Moron.
The president is in charge of the military, is he not? You said he's going to put someone in charge of
Aru?
the
I mean, the
military.
president is in charge of the military. That is how it works.
This is important conversation.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm letting you have it. Yeah, I mean, I think it is important because there is this perception that
Yeah, I
Trump
saw that.
does want to push the boundaries of what is in his constitutional lane. And his staff secretary said that apparently he signed an executive order saying that only he and the attorney general get to say what the law is. So that's the type of thing that I think that Trump has said that has caused people to question, what does he mean by that?
I don't think he has done anything in the first month that is outside the bounds of the power vested in him by the Constitution. He was elected president. We, according to the Constitution, vest all executive authority in a president. And the concept that the military should be an independent agency or that the bureaucracy should resist the political leadership of this government is extraordinarily dangerous.
That's a straw man.
That is what you said.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, because that's exactly what he said.
You could tell that people didn't pay attention in school. I mean, this is fifth grade education. You got the executive, the judicial, and the legislative. And they all work together and they are all equal. Like, besides the executive orders, the Congress and the Senate is what they write the laws. They're the lawmakers. And if the president does something that is unconstitutional, they could evoke, I think it's the 25th Amendment, whatever amendment that is, that could kick his butt out. I mean, for Christ's sake, I mean, and first of all, nobody can become a senator, a congressman, or president if they're not elected by the people. The president is the commander-in-chief of the military. And you had put up Obama fired and installed woke commanders, and Trump is firing, put that back up, firing those woke commanders. Let me tell you something. You're absolutely right, Jabba. No, go up, not down. See, because me and Charles was talking about this in the stream like last month.
Okay.
By constitutional law, the highest rank you can achieve as an officer in the military is lieutenant general. That's 3 stars. 4-star general is a political position, just like how, so you equate it to a local level, how your chief of police and your fire chief, those are political positions. Like the mayor would appoint a police chief that his ideological views coincide with the mayor. And likewise with generals. Presidents are going to put 4-star generals in positions where their military worldview coincides with the president. Just for argument's sake, when I was in the Marine Corps, George W. Bush was the president. His Joint Chief of Staff was Marine General Pete Pace. And Pete Pace was a hardcore evangelical Christian. And when Obama became president, he fired over 100 generals. That's his right as a president. And when Trump became president, it was his right as president to fire those generals, because those positions are really, they're temporarily, they're only they length of service is really when the president, his term of service. So when that president term is up, a lot of those generals know that they're going to be fired. 4-star general is a political position.
You know what killed me though? There was one Democratic senator. She was questioning Pete Hegseth. She wanted to know if there was an order that Trump would give that he would ignore. And I mean, in so many words, she was asking him if he would form a coup against the president. In so many words.
It was kind of a trick question. She did it slick, but I think what she was trying to ask is, would you ignore an order that would contradict the Constitution? Because although Pete Hegseth, he works for the president, but his job is to protect the Constitution. Just like when I enlisted in the Marine Corps, my oath was to the Constitution to protect this country from enemies, foreign and domestic. She was trying to insinuate that, that Trump is a domestic terrorist, and if he would have did anything that would be contradictory to the Constitution, whose side would he be on? The Constitution side or Donald Trump? Who was his allegiance to?
This from people who tried to kill him.
Yeah.
If I was Pete Hegseth, my answer would have been, hey, look, I'm here to follow orders. I'm not here to question the morality of the president. I'm here to follow freaking orders.
You know what? Hey, Bay, can you take that little Trump picture off? Send me this video, because I can make a dope meme out of the look on his face.
Oh, hold on. All right, hold on.
Send me that video. Please send me the link. I'm going to make me a meme out of this.
Oh, you want the video? All right.
Yeah.
I can see the video. All right. I'll email it to you right now.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, please. I can make a dope ass meme.
Yeah, because this guy, he was so stupid. But Scott Jennings, he be on that show. Look, he be on that show practically, 5 nights a week. Steady making fools of these people. He makes fools of these people because they don't know what they're talking about.
That look on his face is like Either did I pay attention in 5th grade, or when I went to college, did all the radicalism erase common sense from my brain? Look at it.
Yeah, there's the video for those of y'all that want to check it out. All right, so we're at the 2-hour mark and I am fading. It was great to talk to you guys today. I'll try to get those Elon
Like a Muppet Jibba Jabba.
yeah. I'll try to get those Elon videos out. Let me know what y'all think about my daily uploads, them little less than 10-minute videos, those little video shorts I've been doing. Like they're AI generated through CapCut. All right. That's why sometimes the reading, it sounds like I'm not pronouncing words right. That's CapCut doing that, not me. The cadence is also a little off. So, but still, my whole point is I just need to get the info out because that's what matters most. You know, I'm just trying to get a little style to it. Any closing words, sir?
Everybody that's listening or will be listening, be kind to others, but first and foremost, be kind to yourself first and foremost. If you don't take care of yourself, how can you take care of others? I'm done.
Look, the word of the day is de-escalate. 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 We will catch y'all. Well, I'll catch y'all tomorrow, and we'll see the rest of y'all. We'll get back on the regular Monday stream. Monday. I'll be doing a whole lot better then. So I catch y'all then.
Okay, I believe that is an L. It is in fact an L. At least 6 hours ago, I couldn't even read a stop sign. All right, test me again. I want to go smaller. Smaller. All right.
Great work, Rob. Great work. See if you can read this.
You're fired. And in case your ears are fucked, get the fuck out! And the next person I see juggling, tap dancing, or baton twirling, or doing any other circus-like tricks will join him, all right? One strike policy applies. Now get back to work. God damn, that felt good.